Welcome to Bringing IP to Life. I'm Anna from Amanya IP and Amanya Design, and I'm joined by my guests to talk about IP. We're going to hear people's stories of their creativity, business, and entrepreneurship. Intellectual property can be a really dull subject until it becomes personal. This is aimed to help see the relevance of IP in everyday life. Welcome to the show. So welcome everybody. Hello, welcome to the IP to Life show. My name is Anna and this is my second guest I've got on. So I'm very happy to have Charlotte joining me today. Welcome. So we're going to talk about IP today, and if you don't know what that is, then I recommend you go back to my first show, which was IP, intellectual property and horror stories, and I'll explain all about IP there. If you don't know about it, then that's a really good place to start. And I'm joined by Charlotte Trudgeon, a designer. Now, she started out in the textile design space and has ended up in the very unusual space of custom acoustic design solutions. So, Charlotte, please can you explain to people what these are?
Custom acoustic design is basically, it's on the tip of everyone's tongue. I can't understand why people don't understand what it is. It's been a journey. And having, as you said, started out as a textile designer, as a weave designer, that's why I'm here in Yorkshire, fabulously. And it's moved through interior design and then to custom acoustic design is basically the design of acoustic finishes, which can either be sound absorbers, diffusers, or reflectors to control the sound within a space. So it does have a difference. There is a difference between, sound coming into the building. I'm not doing that. And I'm not doing sound escaping from a building. So I'm not sound control in that way, but sound control within a room, within a given room. So we can design specifically for a space. And being designers, we have all the we have the language, and we have the all the kit, and can talk well and can communicate well and design well for a space, knowing the acoustics, what they provide. And so it's usually something a bit different, something designed for a space, but it controls the sound within an area. So it's a very exciting and quite a niche area, probably.
Yes, definitely. So today we're going to talk about your creative journey and how intellectual property was part of that journey as well. It's just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Here's a little snippet of our conversation today and learning about Charlotte's story and bringing the IP into the story.
And then, so these again are new registered design, and to the whichever way you're pointing the little circles, they are acoustic wall boxes, and utilising against the technical side that with this acoustic felt, which they're made out of. We've had them cut, and if you can just put an air gap between an acoustic product and the wall, then it increases the absorbency. So I've inherently created an air gap by creating a box. So the air gap is there, and so when they're fitted, they will perform better. And then the other thing is we could put lighting around the inside of there to create a little luminous light box. So that's quite new. Nobody else has got anything like that.
So Charlotte, we first met at church and you did the same degree as I did. We both did a textile design degree at the University of Huddersfield, and you were a few years in front of me, and you specialised in weave and I specialised in print. Yes, so it was quite an intense degree, wasn't it? Because we did design as well as technology and the placement and everything. It was quite intense. So tell us a little bit about your journey with the weave side.
Well, I am really pleased that I ended up in Huddersfield. And the degree, I don't know what it's like now, but then it was absolutely groundbreaking course. And so I decided I liked 3D. I wasn't great at print. I was just like, no, I tried. And people just said, Charlotte, that's very bad. So I didn't go down that route. But every time with textures and looking, deeper into things. So you've got textures and shapes and everything. I love that. And so my come from a family of designers. Well, my dad's an architect. My sister's an architect. My brother-in-law's an architect. My daughter's a designer. My son is not, but he's brilliant. He's a an analyst, data analyst, and I have another daughter in marketing, but we come from a kind of creative background, and we think in a certain way. So the weave design just ticked all the boxes, and also it was such a great course because it taught us to not just look at the visual impact, which of course is important, but we got to learn, as you know, about all the physics, the chemistry, why weaves interlock, why things work like they do. We knew the count of the yarns that we were using. I mean, it was extreme, wasn't it? The amount we learned, physics and chemistry, and it was all as important as doing design. And I wanted to be a fine art textile. That's what I wanted to be. So that really blew me away, doing all the technology. And of course, we got BSc, didn't we? BSc in textile design, really comprehensive course. And it stands me in brilliant stead today because I don't just look at what it looks like. I look at how that's put together. And of course, a lot of the products, as in that one, that way, that behind me. I'm around the wrong way here. This is made of needle felted, and I know exactly how that works. Other people will go, I know exactly how that works. So it was absolutely fabulous, and I left there to become a weave designer with Courtaulds Textiles, which I haven't got anything to show you. I'm sorry. But it was again looking at new designs for Courtaulds Textiles in the furniture weaving, and so we were the first company, one of the first companies, I don't know if it was the first, to use computerized looms. And at the time that was like super, because I've got grey hair, you see, so I'm a little bit older, and it was amazing. So we designed on computer, and we had the printouts, and then we went to the jacquard looms and we saw the furnishing fabrics come out, and so that was really the state of the art at the time, and I was very fortunate to work there. And I have got yards of the fabric, it's just all in my attic, and I haven't photographed it for this podcast, I'm sorry. But I've done the point paper, the little dots of using a paintbrush and orange ink on point paper. And I have got books about, actually, really fascinating into weave design.
Wow. Yes. No, that's great, because I specialised in print, so for me it was far more about what was on the surface, and so I moved from textile design to surface pattern design with some graphics thrown in, because I wasn't sure whether I was going to go down the textile design route or the graphics route. So now I come back to, and I do surface pattern as well. So we did slightly different things. So Charlotte, share a little bit with us about your journey from textiles. Then you went into interiors, didn't you? So share a little bit about that.
Yes, I did. After, when I was at Courtaulds Textiles, then happened a time of my life where it was a children time of life. And so we made a choice that I really wanted to have time with the kids when they were younger. I didn't know how I was going to have, I hadn't planned it all like that. But I was getting up very early in the morning, coming back quite late from traveling. And so it was a bit of a tough decision, because you needed two incomes, really. But it was good. So, and then my husband set up his own practice. And so after a little bit of time of helping doing admin, I'm thinking, I hate this. Yes, he was an architect, and I was doing learning typing. I'm not, and thinking, I think I can add to the business better than this. This is so I retrained. I retrained in interiors, and that was good. And I did that fairly well. It was something that I enjoyed, and then after starting in interior design, within the practice, I then had to sort of decide, do I want to do commercial, do I want to do residential? And for a time I was doing both. And coming from that technical point of view that we were talking about,
that's right.
You and I know that the finishes for commercial interior are just like totally different to that of a residential. Right. You're not going to shop on Amazon for something to put in an auditorium. So I was learning about too many finishes with residential and commercial, so decided I want to do commercial interiors. And I love it because I love big spaces. I just love big spaces. And I love architecture. I love big buildings and stuff. So that sort of suited me better. For me, I don't really mind what your house looks like, to be honest. As long as you like it, I like it, you know. So
I like the whole thing about the interiors, as you can see from my yellow living room.
Yellow's great. Look,
Yeah.
yellow.
Yes,
Yellow. We like yellow. Okay. If you
yeah,
don't like yellow, the next podcast will be blue. Yes. So from there, then I just, was finding work in commercial interiors, and that also was quite an interesting journey, because I got to do a few churches, which I never anticipated doing. They approached me to do some churches, so I did some quite big churches, one in Leeds, one in Amersham, and one in Bolton. And actually they were quite interesting, because I was able to do loads of different areas. So you did auditoria, you did cafes, you did bathrooms, you did breakout spaces, and all of them had little unusual features, and that people thought, oh, you're going to do the same as you did in one for the other. But probably why I didn't continue in interiors, one of the many reasons, is that I didn't just copy and paste. I'd always look at how,
absolutely, yeah,
something that was important to them, and create an interior is very unique to them, using the things that were important to that particular client. So I'll show you some little bits later on.
Yeah. So is this a good time to see your work?
Yeah, that would be absolutely fine. We'll do the first few, and then I'll lead on to the second ones.
Yeah.
You roll on, and then
okay. So for those of you that are listening on a podcast, you're going to miss the pictures, but you can head over to the YouTube channel, Amanya Design YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the pictures there, because as a designer, you want to see the visuals as well. So
you really will. It's a picture paints 1,000 words, and you haven't got all day.
Have a look.
Lovely. So there we go. This is some of our recent acoustic finishes, and that's a freestanding floor screen, which you can see the little top bit of, and that's Solace, which is our acoustic lampshades. Yeah,
fabulous.
So anyway, there we are. Scroll. That's just a hello. Okay, so this was one of the churches we did, and this was the interior or reception area, and I wanted the lighting to lead people in. And actually, this is quite interesting, because in this area, it's a beautiful space. It's a really lovely space, and there's a lot of martyrs. Actually, I think they were called. It's come back to me. They're called the Lollard Martyrs at this time, and they were people that were put to the stake. And actually, I chose orange because it was in commemoration of them, actually. So no one would know. No one would know. No one would know. But that's why it was orange lighting. And these are in little gatherings, and they sort of just lead people into that. We're looking from the cafe there out into the main foyer. So there we go. That's that bit.
Excellent.
And so design details are something that I really like, and I still like, even though I'm doing acoustic. So this was just the little reception desk, and you put it down on a bar. Well, that was my bar too.
I love that.
So they're just little fun details.
Welcome. Fabulous.
Yeah. And this is so in this area in Amersham, there's Old Amersham and New Amersham down south, and this was a tile. These I can't remember the name now. That they have these special tiles that they were renowned for, and this was one that was found locally, a very old tile. So I've replicated it and had it etched into the glass for the reception counter.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
it was lovely. Fun. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, and it's so this was fun. So what I did is I had they wanted to have a theme, because I was asking them, what do you want for your interior? They said, we really want it to come from John. I think it's John 14, from what I remember. I am. So all these phrases are I am. And so what I did is I had all these little letters stuck onto the wall. It was a massive job. I had them all cut out, and then they're all stuck onto, and then the whole lot was painted over. So it's just the light creates the shadow, so you can read the letters.
Oh, cool.
So all around the interior, there's I am the bread of life, I am this. Wow. And then that little graphic below, that also is I am, and that it's known for its flint. So you can get flint walls and flint flint buildings and stuff. So they're really, really beautiful. So I wanted to use that texture there. So yeah, that was fine. So I'm going to tell you a story about those letters when we have, I think we might come to a break, might we? So I'm going to tell you a little story about that after we come back from the break.
Okay.
But that was phenomenal. And they just run round the whole interior, around all the walls.
How
So
creative.
it's a crazy thing.
I love it.
I never did that one again. I don't know if my the signage man would ever want to do that again. It was quite a big thing, but it's very effective. It's beautiful, and you can go and see it today. I think it's the King's Church.
Wow.
It looks amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, so what's the next one? Oh, and this is one in Bolton. This is a little Methodist church in Bolton called the Triangle, from what I remember. And they had a tarn, or actually it wasn't called a tarn, but that's a Yorkshire term. But in Lancashire, I can't remember what they call it, but it's an old cooling pond, I think. But now it's a nature reserve. So I had this graphic made, and that is quite a thing. It's a very piece, and that was designed to bring just the nature of the surrounding area into the. And I had to design it very carefully because the bottom 2/3 had to be mainly opaque, and the top 2/3, or the top third, could be less opaque to hide what was going on. So people, because this is a cafe again, we're looking out into the main auditorium. So that was the criteria. I had to make it more opaque lower down to stop it, so it was to stop interference, or just distractions going on inside. So that was a fun thing to do.
Fabulous.
Crazy detailed things. So they're absolutely crazy detailed things.
Yeah.
So, but you can see this originality is just in us, isn't it? And I know it's in you too, Anna, which is good. So I put this image because it's a little story so I used to do these mood boards, and they were a story of how I was going to create the interior. So this was about the Bridge Community Church here in Leeds, and so this is talking about the things that they wanted. So I say, what do you want it to be like? And they will give me these words, and so like ownership, city connections. These are things that are really important to them, and they're the things I wanted to put in that interior. And so I utilised Bermontos pottery here, and that was one of the greatest things that came out of Bermontos. It was like a really important thing. So I did a lot of research, and these were the main colours, and it was a triadic colour scheme, and these colours were the ones that I used for the interior. And they were these very specific buff and turquoise and this kind of gold, and the purple I threw in actually just to make the triadic, but it worked well with church and sort of royalty and stuff.
Excellent.
So literally those things I've used. So the map I used, the Bermontos pottery. If you can just see that little pot in the bottom of the pot, that's something I use because I did a print onto an acoustic panel with that. The bell. There's some bells made for the cafe, and that white column in the back, which is from Leeds on the Brigate, you can see it as you're walking up there, that's made of marmo, which is like anyway, it's a whole story. I'm not going to go about it now. If anybody wants me to tell them, I will tell them. But it's made of marmo. It makes it look
excellent.
Like marble. But anyway, that also was used definitely. So
excellent.
Bermontos works, okay. So then at Bridge, this is where my interest in acoustics started, because this shows the absorption panels in the ceiling, and I'm going to show you a few more acoustics. And the curved ones, they're reflectors, so the sound hits those reflectors and is reflected back into the auditorium, back into those that are listening. Whereas the ones at the top, the square ones, they are absorbers, and they were very fancy. They're all light changing around the outside. And
interesting.
So I started learning about acoustics here, and I loved it. And I think it comes back to that creativity and the technical working hand in hand. But there's a lot of work went into this interior, to be honest. So that they're the reflectors at the front of the auditorium anyway.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what's this then?
Okay, so this was a really interesting interior because although I was working as an interior designer, not as acoustic designer, in this one, it did introduce me to all these three areas, which I said at the beginning of the beginning of our podcast now here. And you have absorbers, reflectors, which you see each of them. And this is a diffuser. So these are on side walls, and nobody knows these are here. So you're getting a real treat to see what's actually going to be put on this. These are like what do you call it? Shelves of different heights, and the back is like at different heights. And basically, the sound hits these and is diffused around the room. There's a certain quantity needed within a certain area, so that's the number of square meters that's needed on that wall. And what it does is it keeps the sound bright. So the sound hits it and it's diffused, so it still sounds bright. If that was all absorption, just like a big duvet, like these Class A absorption panels, it would absorb the sound, but it all becomes very muffled. So this keeps the sound bright. So
learning things today. Wow.
I know. I love all these things, and I love teaching people things.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, you'll see what happened to that, and that's the finished product. No one would know what was under there.
Oh, really? So is it behind the image?
Yeah. And that image, I took that picture of that image, and it's about people on the move. It's about going. So I just took pictures of people's feet, because it's people walking and people doing, and actually that's pretty much what these people do. It's a really active church in the community, and it's about going and doing as well as being, and they are definitely beings. But anyway, that was good. So that's what's behind there. And there was one on this wall, something else on the other wall, and something at the back. There was quite a lot of meterage of these diffusion boxes, and no one knows what's behind there apart from everyone here.
Wow.
Everyone here knows it, and you can go and see this. If you go to Bridge Community Church, you'll be able to see this in these big.
Yeah, didn't know anything about that. Wow.
Okay, and then so these are absorbers, and up in the youth rooms, it was a very echoey sort of concrete ceilings, which are renowned for being very echoey. And even at this stage, when I wasn't an acoustic designer, I knew that acoustics was really important. So I had these big panels of absorbers, and these are prints. So I had this kind of funky print. So even that wood chip is actually a print. So it's an absorber, but looks like wood print. Looks like wood chip. And these are up in the student rooms, so up in the youth rooms, the older youth. So they had some really funky lighting put in. Yeah, that's nice. So they're just absorbers. They're relatively inexpensive and do a great job. Yeah. So that was them. Which is like amazing. So let's have a look. And then so these are fun. So again, this room is there are lots of rooms that are for hire. And so this was a big room, and it makes these rooms hireable, So what I did was had these big, deep boxes made, and just sort of slightly, I think they're only about 5 degrees off. And so they just look fun.
Yeah, they do.
And they look fun without being overpowering, because the colours are sort of a bit bright there, but not too much.
Yeah, I can see that.
And again, it's a lovely room to be in. It's just a really nice space. So So I knew acoustics were going to be important for this. And so they put these in afterwards. They weren't in the main contract. And so a lot of these acoustics were put in after. They were for the auditorium. That was a part of the not building control. I think it was building control actually had to have them in, but he didn't have to. This was just the client wanted to have the rooms. And they listened to my recommendations, which was wonderful, really.
Wow.
So, very cool. They're fun, quite heavy. And so this was, do you remember seeing that image that we had earlier about the street maps? And so this is the inspiration I took for the street maps. And this particular church, or it could have been a business or anything, they had been in this area all these times before. So in 2016 was when they moved into Ryder Street, so that's the address. And 2031 they moved into Bridge Street, and I can't remember what, Bickerdike Street and one other. So they're all the dates and the names of the roads that they were in Bermatops before, which was like amazing. It's like too good to miss that. So it's a part of their history, and they are baffles. They're acoustic suspended baffles that again just take the echo out of that entranceway, but creating a nice feature too.
Yeah, part of the story.
part of the story. It's
Wow.
all a big story. So I didn't put the a printed. I didn't, because I thought it'd be too many slides. But there was a printed base to one of the pots that I actually had hanging up in the cafe, and under that is like, you know, the printer the printer's mark was printed into the bottom of the pots. You
Okay.
knew who'd manufactured it, and so I used that as a print, a great big print, and it's all open. You can go and see it. And in the bottom of that pot, I just put about, you know, your name is imprinted, because we're all important and we're all made for reasons. So that was there anyway. So it's another acoustic. So there's actually quite a lot of acoustics in that job, and that's what
Wow.
started me off.
I love seeing the design, you know, working, and you know, your working documents. It's fab.
All I'd learned before was really helpful now. So this is acoustic design. I don't think anyone else does this for an acoustic project, but these were our proposals. But because I'd learned interiors, I could present it in such a way.
In a really,
And so
really good way.
my client was actually able to just pass that straight to the client. So it really helped them not have to represent work. So we just added value to our client in this way.
Definitely.
Yeah, so they're printed baffles and then just gradated in different fabrics there.
So
and
baffles.
baffles. So you've got, if you have acoustic panels or absorbers that are hanging vertically, they're called baffles, and they're suspended. If you've got something flat like a plane, a circle, or a shape, or they would be called a raft, an acoustic raft. So these are acoustic baffles, and then you've got the acoustic. I haven't got any rafts there, so I'm going to be quiet. So that's just there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so they're moving on. So this was a job that I haven't done so long ago. It's a very simple little job, but it made a huge impact. And it was for an SEN school, a special needs school, not very big. But I loved that I put this in because we did those little pads, and we did the little clouds, and we put that bit on the wall. The designer did the tree, but it's a biophilic design. And in the back of those little seating areas is all acoustic. And they went in, they went, oh, I love this because it's so quiet. And it really matters to them. Sound really matters, as it does to most of us, actually. But so that was just a nice little special project that was, and that's a lot. But I don't think people can know where that is, because too many people want to go and see the whole project. The rest of it looks amazing. I didn't do acoustics in every room by anything, but the whole school is just absolutely fabulous. It's really fabulous.
I love this. It's so good.
Yeah, very peaceful. Okay, and here we start getting onto IP.
Tell us, Charlotte, what happened in your journey in finding out about IP, and how you found out how important it was.
Absolutely. I did make a promise though earlier, I'd say, about the letters. I've just remembered.
Okay.
Those letters around the wall. I'm going to go very quickly. I'm going to say the printer didn't have time to. They all had to be painted with the glue to allow the paint to go on. So I brought them all home, and I gathered around all my family's friends. And we were painting PVA all over these letters for a whole day, and I was like slipping them some money to help me get all these letters done. Anyway, so I just thought it was a fun thing.
The background behind the design.
This is the real life of a designer. Yeah, this is a real life of a designer.
That's right.
Okay, so IP. So IP has become really important to acou.space, which is the company that we founded, and I just started having ideas about what I could do. And so this was the first product, and it was in COVID that, as you can tell, it's quite a COVID thing, but it actually creates a little bit of privacy. And they're still great for if you've, to just getting away from distractions. And it does create a little enclave there for people to work behind, and they were antimicrobial and antiviral finish on them. So I thought this is a really good thing to get registered. I spent a lot of time with my manufacturer getting the design right. I paid a lot of money for somebody to help me register this. And then that was the time that you and I had a conversation about IP, and it's, I tell you, Anna, that and you sent me, you said, would it be helpful to send you this little this information that I've got on I've made a like a podcast or a learning video. And I
No,
said,
no,
yeah,
no,
that'd be
no.
interesting.
What happened
Yeah.
was I
Yeah.
sent you my first draft.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did is I'd started writing a course, A Beginner's Guide to Intellectual Property for Designers and Artists. And you were the first person I tested it out on
Wow.
to see if it actually was of interest, was relevant. Because it'd been checked by the lawyers to make sure it was all legally sound. But I wanted to
Wow.
see what it was like from a designer's perspective, whether it was actually of any help. So that's where it started.
Wow. Well, that I'd forgotten that. You know, that's really nice because it was like, yes, this is really important stuff because IP is so like, I need that. And then you go, oh, this is such a big thing because none of us are doing this full time. We've all got lots of else going on.
Yes.
And as you can tell, my head gets a bit busy. So it was like, I need to find out about this. And now you start trawling through information and all it says is go and see a professional, go and see a professional. And I thought, well, and I didn't even know, do I need a registered designer? Do I need to patent this? Do I need to, is it, oh, I can't remember all the terms now.
Copyright,
Sorry.
registered.
Yeah. But you know, was it all those things? Which one? Do I need to do a community register or do I need to do this? And so it was so big and so wide and so deep that it was like frustrating and made me a bit sad.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. And so when I looked at the course that you'd written, it was just like, this is so helpful. And you haven't even paid me to say this. Yeah, you really haven't actually, because it was genuinely one of the so helpful, and I'm really glad you've put that together for people like me, who need to who have all these ideas and don't know how to protect that idea because you know we're known for our new ideas. We still are.
That's right.
So thank you, Anna.
Genuinely,
I mean that. Thank you, Anna, because it would be, I'd be in a very different place now. I'd be in a very, very different place now if I hadn't had the opportunity to see that initial, videos and things to explain more about IP and to just understand it about where do you go and what do you do. So from now on, after this one, which I paid a lot of money for, and now I do it myself. And to learn that, you'll have to go and check out Anna's stuff because it's great.
Yeah, because you're now registering all the designs you do, aren't you? So yeah.
So this is Solace, which we saw in the very first slide, and these are acoustic light shades, decorative acoustic light shades. They're fun, 3 sizes, lots of colours, and so yeah, this is Solace, and this was at the a show that we went to display them. Together with Picnic behind, which is a hanging screen, acoustic hanging screen, which goes either in the centre of a room or to a wall. So yeah, that's Solace. So we registered that design too. And
I love the fact that you're creative and functional at the same time. It's just like, yeah, it's fab.
Yeah, well, that wasn't my original. Do you remember saying I wanted to do fine art textiles? And because I went to Huddersfield, literally, I mean, it's just wonderful how our journey, you look back and what seemed like terrible at the time. I mean, it really is like, what am I doing here? It actually was really good because that taught me to look about where this comes from, how it's going to be used and everything.
Yes.
So
not just
really,
pretty
really
things,
important.
but actually, useful things. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. It's absolutely true. Here we go. So these are some of the other colours that we've got that are available for Solace. Anyway, there we go. Hello Peace.
Love it.
There you go. Next one. There we go. And so this is the latest one that with Sunbeam that we've you can see from the first slide again. This is the rest of the image, and it's just showing a freestanding screen that has a front and back. The back is different to the front, but again, we're innovating a freestanding screen that can be easily moved is on a base, and literally when you go behind that, I took this to a show, and there was me talking to people one side, and one of my colleagues talking to someone the other side, and we just couldn't hear. So, yeah, you just couldn't hear each other. So you create a kind of, you could have one each side and a chair in the middle. It's a commercial. I don't think you'd have this in one of your houses, but for an office, it would work really well. So, and I've had the bases made locally, and which you can't see. They are there. Okay, there is a base to that. It's not floating. But to try and get these things that are all manufactured in the UK, that's something that I was quite keen on. No, we have one manufacturer in France because they moved to France, but we still use them because they have a water jet machine. But generally, a lot of our manufacturers in the UK, which is important to us, or local. Yeah.
Fabulous.
There we go. There we are. That's all registered. And then, so these again are new registered design. And to the whichever way you're pointing the little circles, they are acoustic wall boxes, and utilising against the technical side that with this acoustic felt, which they're made out of, we've had them cut, and if you can just put an air gap between an acoustic product and the wall, then it increases the absorbency. So I've inherently created an air gap by creating a box. So the air gap is there. And so when they're fitted, they will perform better. And then the other thing is we could put lighting around the inside of there to create a little luminous light box. So that's quite new. Nobody else has got anything like that. So that's so cool. Again, registered. That's a registered design now. That and another design called Slot. That idea of a box.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, indeed, there it is, with the light behind it. Yeah, the acoustic modular light box. They're called Slot. That isn't on the acoustic panel. That's just text on the image, so you know what it is. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
It's fun. This is another one of our recent designs called Blossom. I think, and it's a feed. Yeah, well, this is a raft. And then we've done them as baffles. So again, it's actually based on an elderflower flower.
Lovely.
And we've called it Blossom though, because it looks quite good here. I think if you look at the next one, I might have done. Oh, there we go. There it is as a baffle. So this is quite fun because it's quite textural and quite frothy. It could be done in different colours. We've just done it in pink here. But it has little bits, so not just the baffle, we had little shapes cut out as well, and you just fit them in so they fit. So there's the baffle, and you just fit little bits in, makes it look quite textural. You can just see some there at the top right.
Excellent.
So yeah, we've registered that one. That's Blossom. Excellent. Yeah, this is not registered because everybody uses it, but it's the kind of thing we do. This is a kind of normal acoustic, just to these using colours for a company that was supplied, and just this is pretty standard kind of, but it's nice. It's standard, if you know what I mean. So this is Picnic. So Picnic is one of our hanging screens. It's one of our more popular ones, and
so good.
We love that. It's very textural. You can see the texture coming through there.
I love that.
That's in a hospital. That's in a hospital, not actually in the ward, I'd like to say. It's in the IT department. And then movable hanging screens. Be nice if you saw that in the ward, wouldn't it? But it's not going to last.
It would be nice if you saw it in the ward.
Yeah. No, we're going to stick to the green curtains in the ward. That's much better. Yeah. And so this is Buzzwire, and Buzzwire is, I think, could you go on to the next one as well? I think I've got it. Oh, yeah. So Buzzwire is like another registered design, which has been slightly copied since it came onto the. There you go. That's another conversation. But they're like modules that are all in, and then you can put them. You can fit those modules to create different designs. So both Buzzwire and Curve, which I think is the next design. So I made a little triptych there of those designs. There we go. So you can see me turning around. It was a little video. This is a still taken. And you can turn one of those little squares round and it changes the pattern. So it's like one tile, endless design. And it's really good fun. There we go. That's just there were little tiles there, but you can have them. You could have the massive, and of course, being custom acoustic design, you can have the tiles made up in different size units. So you might have it 600 square, which would be like, or you might have little tiny ones. So,
fabulous. Love it.
Yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun. This is Kites Away. Kites Away is just that little. I think HSBC need this one. What do you think? Probably.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So this is again is a wall tile with the little tiny fleck in the corner, which can be you can choose all your colours. I mean, there's endless colour designs, but the bright colour and the neutrals tend to work quite well on that one. An equilateral triangle. Yeah.
Excellent.
I went to maths that day, and this is relief, as in it's a relief, and it's a relief. A 2 times relief 1 and relief 2. Again, we registered this design, and it's basically a 2-layer. So lovely. We put this in. I'm sure they won't mind the plug CAP, Christians Against Poverty, and they've got this in their little studios, their little IT. You know, if they need a little quiet room for doing a video call with a client.
Excellent.
And so yeah, lovely. It's a really nice textural little design. It looks really fun. This is just a little summary, and you can do either in 2 different heights or 2 different colors, but you could put, anyway, it's fun. Relief 1 and relief 2. Oh, there it is. Boom, there it is.
Excellent.
That's relief 1. Relief. Excellent. Yeah, so that's that one. And this is more what we want to, and we are moving towards, is the custom acoustic design. So an interior designer gave a basic idea of a design, and so we've made it work into an acoustic tree, which will go into an office in Leeds.
Wow.
Into an office in Leeds, and it's built around a column there, which the fit out company is doing really, really well to manage to fit that.
Wow.
So it's sort of a combination of just working together to make that work. And so that's just a little example of something that we're doing, and is going in now as we speak. I think it's being delivered on Friday and will be up, and hopefully will be photographs coming soon of what that looks like.
Excellent.
Yeah. And that's what I was doing last week. So so there we go. So thank you. That's
amazing, Charlotte. Charlotte, let's go back.
Yes.
Because you kind of skimmed over this, but let's hear a little bit more about the story. This one. What happened?
Yes.
You said that it'd been copied. Tell us a little bit more.
Oh, well, it's not very complex, because often the best things are simple. So I just had this idea about doing, so V-groove in this sort of acoustic felt. We call ours acou felt, and the range of colours and things. But if you had we had this idea of having a modular, and it's repeatable, so you could put them all together, just create a slat, and then so it's not difficult to copy. It's not going to be difficult to copy that. So I remember putting one out, this design. We hadn't long had it out, and then I remember seeing a Chinese company with exactly the same thing. And I've seen someone else. I have sent a letter from a lawyer just saying, "Oh, it looks very similar, and it's together." It was curve and buzzwire. Well, that's what we call them, and they were both designed suddenly, and I'd never seen them before, and it was just too much of a coincidence to see them in one place. And I met with them, and all is well. And I never, pressed charges or anything. But it's interesting, isn't it? And
yes,
it's not an easy thing, because there are big people with lots of money, and they look at people like us who have lots of ideas. And but anyway, the thing I think of is we have more ideas.
Yes, we do.
If you have to copy, you've only got that one idea, and we have so many more. So that's how I have to think about it. I don't know what you have to think about that, Anna.
Well,
talk about.
I think it's hard for the small people. Should I say the one-man bands, the small businesses, when the bigger businesses take the ideas and run with them, because it's just very unfair and very unjust. Because a small business is trying to make a living, and to take ideas, take the livelihood away, it's just very unjust. So, to try and equip people to be able to be smart about that so that they can actually know how to pursue it if they need to, or at least to
proof. You need to have proof, you see.
something. Yeah, the proof of it. Yeah. So
it was interesting. The night before I went to, it was we were at the Surface Design show, and I was, because textures is what we love, and I had Solace. I had it was this one. It's this one behind me there. It is there. Yeah, that's Sunbeam, the floor standing screen. It had that, and what else did we have? We had Slot and those wall boxes. And there was something else, but they were all new designs. And I got a bit sad. I was thinking, what's the point in registering these? And I was busy. I was trying to get ready. What's the point actually in registering these? Because if people are going to copy them, they're going to copy them. And then actually, I was just the night before, I was going to make Flapjack to take down with me, but I had this little voice that just said, "You need to register those designs." So I went. I got on the website, and because I knew what to do, Anna, because you had introduced me how to do it, I had done it once before, so it's a progress, isn't it? Because you had given me that help, I was able to go on, and then in a couple of hours, I'd registered all those designs. So I knew that I have proof that from this date they were my design. So if anything came to it, then that was a really helpful thing. And so I think that is helpful.
No, that's really good. So Charlotte, we're going to ask you in a second. Just got something else to show everybody before we do that. But if you'd like to know more about intellectual property or IP, check out the Amanya IP website at www.amanyaipcourses.com. Courses vary from general basic understanding about IP for adults, young people and students, through to professional courses and courses for the USA market. The courses are aimed to help young people, students, designers, artists, business owners and entrepreneurs become IP smart to enable them to protect their dreams. Please tell us your key takeaway from today. What would you like to share with listeners and viewers about what you've learned about IP in your journey? How's that been helpful to you?
Okay, it's been very helpful to me. One, because it helps you to recognize your worth. I think as a person, that is really important, because it can be a bit discouraging when you have ideas, and it takes a lot. It doesn't just happen. It takes a lot of working through, a lot of trial, a lot of error, and it gives worth to it's helped me, because even now doing this program, I'm thinking this podcast and thinking, I did design all those. We did design all those.
That's right.
We have got that, which if you don't register them, they're just blur. It's just another part of another day. It's something, and it gives the product worth, it gives you worth, and it also gives a date, which is really important to say, I designed this at this time. That's right. There are big companies and they can employ big lawyers, but and I don't really know how to go around that. That's just as it is. But you have got the capacity to design other things. And so my takeaway is do it. There is information. It is difficult on the IP. I can't remember the name of the website, but you've got all that, Anna. But it is quite difficult and a lot to plough through. And I would recommend, and I haven't been paid to say this, I would really recommend paying for that IP course, because it is just going to be well worth it, because you will have an introduction to the whole process, and it will help you to go, right, that's for that. I can get my logo registered with this one. I can get the design registered with that one. This one is going to need this one's going to actually need to be what is it when you have a product and you don't want to, it's not a registered design, it's like a full thing. What's that one called?
Are you talking about an invention?
Yeah, an invention. If you've got an invention, if you need a patent, then
Right.
it will show you what to do about that. So it will show you just the basics and the beginnings of just beginning to know how to go about something. So you can just start formulating, because if you've got an invention is different to a registered design.
That's
And
right.
so a registered design, you can register up to a year after it's been on the market. With a patent, nobody can have seen it. So you do need to know these things before, because if you have put your invention out and then you go, oh, I want to register that patent, you can't. But
That's
if you
right.
just spent a bit of time and invested
Yes.
that time, and Anna's Amanya's IP courses are worth looking at, then you have saved yourself. And that's immense, because
Yeah.
that could have saved you hundreds of thousands of pounds, well, maybe thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. But
Yeah.
you can sell that invention, but it can't
Yes.
be an invention if people have seen it. So there are little things that is really important to know.
Yeah,
And I
that's
would
right.
encourage you to look at. Really
Yeah.
helped me. They're my takeaways. Helps you, and just get information that's easily obtainable, that you can start filtering and understanding about the process, so you can just sort of layer it,
Yeah,
and that will
definitely.
help you going forward to know what to do and how to go about things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
Yeah.
from my journey, I done trademarks, registered designs, was using copyright, and I thought, well, how hard can it be to tell other people what I've done? But when I first started researching into it, I think, oh my goodness, this is a monster. Because I then realized how many other things there were and how complicated it
Mm.
was, and how many things came in that affected it all. And I just thought, oh my word. But I just dug my heels in and went, you're not going to beat me.
Wow, that is determination.
So,
I think it'd have beaten
um,
me.
yeah, so it just, and then just like, well, actually, this really helps me as a designer and as a creator to know what to do with my stuff. And then I can,
Mm.
help other people with theirs as well. So,
Mm.
so
It's very
yes.
important. It's
So
very important.
thank you, Charlotte. Well, we've come to the
Yeah.
end of this part of the show.
Mm.
We're going to do a second part, and that is going to be slightly different. The second part is going to be the faith part of Charlotte's journey. So you may or may not want to join that part. So if you are interested in seeing that part, then you can head over to the next part of this show, part 2, and it's called IP to Life Extra. And so head over to that. But if you don't want to see that part, then you can head off now. Just want to say thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, it's
Please make sure that
lovely.
you follow
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
subscribe, and so you don't miss the next one. And I
Mm.
hope you've enjoyed the show and you want to hear more. The next one, I'm going to be talking to an entrepreneur about his business, so slightly different to today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can see at the bottom there is the website, www.amanyaipcourses.com. And Charlotte, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Well, just it's been an absolute joy. It's been an absolute joy to share the journey, and it will be another absolute joy, which we haven't recorded yet, to do a behind the scenes and how it all happens. It's really nice.
Fabulous.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you,
Oh, you're very welcome.
Anna.
Very welcome, Charlotte. Well, we'll see
Yeah,
you again soon. Bye, everybody.
lovely. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the show. Like, follow, and subscribe to make sure you hear about what's coming up next. You can head over to the website, www.amanyaipcourses.com, to find out more. See you again soon.